After this, all these attacks that Urandir suffered back in the mid-2000s, the beings came to him and said, "We're going to simulate an abduction." For what reason? And we're going to leave evidence so that it can be researched, analyzed, and with what intention? To silence those who are attacking you. Because the attacks were brutal, you can't even imagine. You have no idea what we went through. And then in September of 2002, the abduction happened. Which isn't really an abduction because we knew who was taking him. Urandir. The beings gave him a 7-day time window, saying, "Look, prepare yourself during these 7 days, because we're going to take you, and then we're going to leave evidence." And it's this whole case right here. There it is, look at that. This here, that's me in the military pants. We went right, when we broke down the door, this is Urandir's room at the farm. We broke into the room because it was locked from the inside, and this is what we found. Take a look, that right there, see? Just like the marks on Ura's arm. Because he was lying on his side, reading a book, when a beam of bluish, lilac light, right? Immobilized him. And then it immobilized him, and they started to take him to the ship, pulling him up, floating toward the ship. You know, when we broke down that door and went in, there was an incredible smell of ozone. There was this, the air was heavy. Wow, it's something I've never forgotten. And they took him. They left all this evidence. In December of 2002, we were in Sao Paulo with Urandir at the center. It was still in Vila Mariana, the Dakila Center in Sao Paulo. At the time, it was Projeto Portal. Linda Moulton Howe, the researcher, calls the center. Linda Moulton Howe, the #1 journalist in ufology, whose work I already knew, though not personally. At the time, there she is, Linda, doing her research there on Ura's bed. She called me. "How do you guys do this? I'm the biggest journalist, the biggest researcher of abductions in the world. I've never seen anything like it. This doesn't exist." A few days later, not a few days, a few minutes later, "Excuse me," she called me. "No, wait a minute. It's just that. What is this? How did this happen?" I just cut to the chase. I said, "Linda, if you want, you'll be very welcome here at the farm to do all the research." She said, "Okay, then I'll go." Then, in February of 2003, she came. She spent more than 10 days at the farm. It was incredible. She did all kinds of research there at the farm, you know? And we allowed her to take the sheets. She took a piece of the ceiling. She took a bunch of the disc-shaped rocks. Urandir and Linda, this is the kitchen at my house, how it used to be. This was in February of 2003, folks. February of 2003. The abduction was in September of 2002. It'll be 20 years ago soon. The sheet, you see, it looks like it's burned, but it's not burned. This here is a close-up photo where it was vitrified, you see? These threads here were vitrified. Now, look how cool this is. This was analyzed at the University of Philadelphia, at the textile center they have there. And Linda said that the people there were astonished by the technology that produced this. The people here, our detractors here in Brazil, said that Ura had burned the sheet, which is, you know, a crude absurdity, right? And what happens? They showed that it was a molecular alteration. Look here. Because the vitrification of the cotton threads requires a much higher temperature than that of the vitrification of this here, this is polyester. How did the cotton vitrify and the polyester didn't? If the normal vitrification point in a normal process of polyester is much lower, for this to happen to the cotton, the polyester should have completely melted, and it didn't. It didn't melt. Look at that. This is technology from our partners. The photo of Linda with the professor there from the University of Philadelphia analyzing all the textiles, right? And so, therefore, some other source of heat. What it is, we don't know. Linda said he even got a bit sheepish, because this interaction with technologies that are not from Earth is so blatant, so evident, so obvious, that they were a bit taken aback. Look here. Linda, Ura.
Felipe, people are asking what the moment was like when you guys entered the room and saw the burned bed, the ceiling, right? Do you have a little video from when you entered the room? You don't?
Beleza, quer?
Tudo já filmado? Depois também tem que deixar um risco, o próximo tá.
Aqui não tá dando água, vou pegar. Olha a frente, aqui na frente.
Seu pai conhece o Bárbara. Eita, tô só avisando do lixo pra ninguém esquecer. O que vai fazer? Vai mexer.
Não.
Ninguém vai mexer em nada.
Só estamos falando para ninguém, mas ninguém falou que você.
Olha a frente.
Vem a luz de volta, pode queimar o vídeo dele, não é desligar.
Minutinho.
Tirar da tomada.
Tirar da tomada.
Pronto.
Será que não gravou nada esse vídeo, não?
Aí.
Ah, se gravou nada.
Deixa aí.
Não tem parabólica. Não é vídeo, é parabólica.
Vou ver, irmão. Então, pessoal,
Vamos lá, pessoal. Vamos sair.
Vou deixar entreaberta a primeira de fora.
Por causa do vidro. Pode chover lá, pode pôr.
Tirar de fora.
Pode chover, cara.